I think I was going to have you start with the Pit, but I may have you start with Twinless because if Andrew jumps on before you leave and maybe even before you start the Pit, maybe we can talk about the Emmys really quick too.
Yeah, that'd be
Um,
great.
so I would say fire it up with the Pit.
Twinless. Oh,
Oh,
you want me to
Twinless.
do
Sorry, no,
Pit
no,
Twinless?
no, Twinless, Twinless.
Okay, okay, cool. So Twinless came out, I don't know, a week or two ago. It stars Dylan O'Brien and James Sweeney, who happens to also, James Sweeney is also the director of this film. And it's about two guys that meet in a support group for people that have lost their twin sibling to recently, or maybe not so recently, but uh, Dylan O'Brien, his character's name is Roman. He had recently lost his brother Rocky, his identical twin, to a tragic accident. And James Sweeney's character and him really get along quite well. And once they meet in this group, James Sweeney's character, his name is Dennis, they find, I think, solace in being in the same sort of in the same position, but also just being with one another. Both of them are more quiet on the quiet side, and it sounds like both of their twins were more of the extroverted twin. And Dylan O'Brien's character is a straight man, and Dennis is more of a, um, I guess he's not closeted gay, but he's definitely not as like out about him being gay as I guess Dylan O'Brien's twin brother that passed, whose his name was Rocky, and he was very much so out and extroverted and such. So I think they connected like on that level, him having a gay brother and him being gay, Dennis. So and also the fact that they both lost a twin, so they become friends. And this takes place in Portland, Oregon, and they start to hang out. And you realize how reliant Dylan O'Brien's character, Roman, was on his twin. He's so broken by this tragic death of his twin brother. He's becomes like quite close in a short period of time with Dennis, wanting to go food shopping with him and to hockey games with him and just hang out and grab a meal with him, being that this is like almost like a massive hole in his heart and in his life by losing his twin. And Dennis and him really connect on a deeper level. You come to find that Dennis has this like very much so obsession with Dylan O'Brien's character, wanting to spend like every waking moment with him as much as possible. And then you come to find out why. It starts off like very friendly and then it becomes more than just friendly. And I don't want to give too much away because it is very good, but it's definitely not what you expect when it comes to this. And Dylan, who happens to be his character, Roman, who happens to be straight, ends up falling for a girl that works with Dennis's character. So Roman, who's straight, played by Dylan O'Brien, ends up meeting someone at Dennis's work at a party, and he's really taken by her, which definitely causes some animosity on Dennis's part now that he has become so close in a short period of time with Roman, and you come to see like what's going on and why he has such a an obsession and deep love for Roman in such a short period of time, and just how this closeness starts to break apart over time as a result of him dating this new person who works with Dennis.
Which character is it that he falls for?
Her name's Marcy. She's
Oh,
played
okay.
by Eileen. She was actually in the version with um, Speak No Evil, the American
Mm-hmm.
version.
Mm-hmm.
She played the wife of
Yeah, I was just looking her up. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I know we saw that like a couple months ago, but she plays wife of James McAvoy.
Yeah, she was also in The Last Voyage of the Demeter and Game of Thrones. So she's been in a few
Yeah,
things. Like she's doing pretty well for herself. But yeah, I
yeah,
recognized her. I was looking her up because I couldn't quite tell from where. But
yeah. So, and she's like a very kind soul and sweet and very much so what Roman needs. And Roman and Rocky's mom is played by Lauren Graham. And she has a very
hmm.
small role. She only appears like twice in the twi two or three times in the f whole film. But
Oh,
yeah, overall, it's very good. I think it's really a mix of comedy, a little bit of drama, somewhat heartfelt, and also like just it kept my interest the entire way from start to finish. It wasn't too long, and it was very unexpected and a bit of a I don't want to say a loop, but there's definitely something that happens like early midway through that you're just like, wow, I was not expecting it to go this way at all.
yeah, it sounds
So,
good. James Sweeney, I'm looking him up real quick because this is only the second movie he's ever directed. He's written a
correct.
handful. Um,
And
his
he's a queer actor, so he embeds that theme into his movies.
I guess well he directed something in Brooklyn Love Stories, which I think is a series of shorts, but Straight Up was his
Straight up
other,
his first major one, I
which is
believe.
a 6.9 IMDb, so that must be pretty good. But this is an 8 on IMDb right now and 97 and 98, I think, on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah,
97,
it was
95.
solid. Hmm.
So yeah, I mean it seems like it's probably a really good flick. I like Dylan O'Brien. I think it's nice to see his career um, doing well because he was hurt doing one of the Maze Runner movies. He was hurt really bad. They had put off,
Yeah,
was it the third
production,
Maze Runner
right?
movie for a while? Yeah, like he got hurt really bad, and and I know at least at first there was a chance they didn't think he was even going to survive. Like I thought it was a pretty bad accident. Um,
Hmm.
it might have even been on set that he got hurt. I can't remember, but
I think it was on set. I only saw the first Maze Runner, but I was a fan of Dylan O'Brien before anyone else knew Dylan O'Brien because he is
of
in my
Teen Wolf.
favorite Teen Wolf. Oh my God, yes. He was my little crush, Styles. So cute. But now he's gotten even more handsome as he's aged. He's my age actually. Same year. But it's he's a good actor. He's really
Yeah,
good,
he
and
really is.
this movie is a perfect example of just his range.
Yeah, yeah, he really has come a long way. I mean, I haven't seen Teen Wolf obviously, but um, Maze Runner I think was the first thing I remember seeing him in, and the subsequent films got felt a little kind of cheesy or whatever, but the first one was great. Actually, it was a really
Yeah.
great like YA type movie. Cool premise, and he
Hmm.
was really good in it. So yeah, I like him. I feel like has James Sweeney been acting for very long?
I don't
He
know.
looks familiar, but
Yeah, he's definitely got a familiar face. He's probably had some small roles in things, but I mean, this is just something that he directed and has
yeah.
obviously had in the, I'll say, like in the creative pipeline for a while now. And I believe he pitched this to Dylan O'Brien a couple years ago, and he's like, let's do it. And it's definitely a different role because you don't see Dylan in such a vulnerable way as you do in this particular movie.
Yeah.
He's either playing like the protagonist tough guy or like the sidekick as he was in Teen Wolf. But this is just a very different role for him. And I thought, I mean, he plays two twins. He plays the main guy who is Roman, and then you see some flashbacks and some scenes where he's playing his deceased twin, Rocky.
Oh, that's right. They're twins, of course. So they probably all played two characters at points, huh?
I'll keep my mouth shut. But yeah, definitely see it. Yeah, I think Dylan did a great job, and I look forward to seeing him in more stuff. I think he's going to get to the point where he will be in some not Grammy, excuse me. Oof. Golden Globe, maybe Emmy. Like he is definitely at that caliber where he, I think, is talented enough where he can get more work and start being at like even maybe a Glenn Powell level in the next couple of years. Maybe not from like he's hot regardless, but maybe not those type of roles, even though he could play those type of roles. But I think he could also do more serious type of acting as well, where and if you see this film, you'll know exactly what I mean. He definitely has depth. And I think it's great that, I mean, I think the other big names, and I know both you and Andrew have seen, what's the Superman show? Not Smallville, but there was like another version of Superman with
Superman and Lois?
Tyler Hoechlin. Tyler Hoechlin was
Yeah,
who I was
Tyler
going
Hoechlin,
with.
yeah.
Hoechlin, excuse me. Yeah, he was like another one who I feel like definitely was able to branch out outside of the Teen Wolf phase, the Teen Wolf series.
Yeah, I would actually Tyler Hoechlin I'd like to see do something else now because I thought he was amazing in Superman and Lois, but
Is that what it
I
was?
would
Yeah,
like to see his career move forward too because I do think he's really talented and he's a good looking guy, he's got it all going for him. So
totally.
he should be able to do stuff. I think that the Glenn Powell comparison is tough because Glenn Powell got some advice from Tom Cruise a long time ago and really rolled with it in that
Mm-hmm.
Tom Cruise told him basically he's like, yeah, it doesn't matter what the part is, it matters how good you make the part. And the idea is
Mm,
you take a role and you go kill it. And if the movie sucks and you're the best thing in it, then awesome. And then you just keep moving forward. And I think that's what Glenn Powell does. And he knows who he is. So
right.
he can do,
A little
he's
bit of
got that show,
anything.
Chad Powers, coming out where he plays a football player. That's actually getting a lot of buzz. Um, and what he just did the one with Adria Arjona where he was the accidental hitman. I think the
Yep,
movie was actually called Hitman, right?
it was called. Yep, yep. I saw
And
that.
that was great. Like that
Great.
was so much fun,
Yeah.
and he knows who he is. He may never win a Golden Globe or an Oscar, um,
Hmm.
or if he takes the opportunity, maybe he'll be in the running for one. But he just works, and I think that's really impressive to me.
Yeah, I think Dylan O'Brien has what it takes to be at that level to just continuously get work at projects. And again, I know you mentioned he did get pretty injured in Maze Runner, but that was definitely before COVID, right? With the
I believe so.
injury.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I believe so. I think it was quite a long time ago, actually.
Hmm.
But yeah, his career was definitely up in the air for a bit.
Yeah, but he's solid in this, and I hope more people see it and it gets more attention because there's a lot of other things that are out right now which I feel like have had more marketing towards it. I just learned about it from going to the movies quite a bit the past couple of months where I saw it in the previews and then I saw the ratings it got and put it on my list and then asked some women in my group if they were interested in coming and it was me and two other women that went. All three of us liked it across the board.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I've never even heard of this film, so this is kind of a cool review to hear, and then to like I said, to look it up and see that it's actually doing great, at least review wise.
Yeah,
I would imagine it's probably doesn't need to be a box office success. It's probably a pretty small budget thing, um,
definitely.
and so that'll benefit them. It looks like from their poster, it may have hit a couple of awards at Sundance, or at least been nominated. No,
Hmm.
won two awards at Sundance. So like,
Yeah.
yeah, it is doing pretty well. So yeah, that'd be a cool one to check out. I think I'll probably wait till it streams, obviously, but I do like Dylan O'Brien, and I actually love Lauren Graham. I'm actually disappointed she's not in it more, but
Yeah.
um,
Small role,
yeah,
but still nice to see her and yeah, I'm looking forward to recommending it to more people once it hits streaming and hopefully it's within the next couple of weeks because I don't know how many people are actually going to see it.
yeah, yeah. So that'll be good. I bet it'll probably rent pretty soon because my guess is it's probably got a kind of a limited release in theaters. Um, and then
Yeah,
we'll
it's
see.
into its like second week or so, give or take.
Yeah. Yeah. So if I'm guessing based on everything that is happening in the industry right now, it'll probably be available for rent within 2 to 4 weeks.
That sounds about right.
So cool. All right. Well, since Andrew joined us, I know you're in a hurry, but I thought we could, and I don't know how to do this. I haven't thought about structuring it all in my head, but talk about the Emmys really quick, because you're about to talk about The Pitt, which won Best Drama Series
It
in
did.
in a very stacked category. Um,
Very much so.
it beat Andor, um, which was fantastic. It beat The Diplomat, which was okay. I like The Diplomat. I think from everything I've heard of The Pit, I think it probably was better than that for sure. The Last of Us season two, I really liked, but I think was definitely probably a hair lower in quality than the first season. Um, Although amazing, I thought it was great. Severance, that one is definitely a show that should always be up there. That show's just incredible. Slow Horses, I feel like not enough people have watched. That show's on Apple TV Plus, and if you have that, you should absolutely watch it. It's amazing. And then White
Hmm.
Lotus was in Best Drama Series, but I don't think this season belonged in there at all.
100%.
I didn't think it was good enough for that.
Yeah.
Um, and then the Pitt Noah Wiley won for that too. Another stacked category, but not having watched this, um, and looking at the things that I did watch, which is almost everything else except for Paradise, which I started and meant to go back to because the first episode's really good. And Andrew, a while ago, somebody on your timeline posted that they loved it, and I can't remember who it was. I can't remember if it was hockey or if it was somebody else, but somebody really, really, really liked it, and it looked really good. And I just forgot to go back. Um, but Sterling K. Brown was nominated for that. But the other than Noah Wiley, for me, Gary Oldman's the best actor in that category.
Hmm.
Um, Best comedy, the studio won, and looking at that, the Hacks is probably the only thing that could compare to it. Um, I don't know which season of The Bear would have been nominated in here. But if it's season four, I can honestly say that's out right now. I haven't watched a single episode, and I haven't heard any buzz about it like I did in season three. Um, like I don't know anybody that's watched season four of The Bear.
I watched season four. I'm all caught up.
Are
And
you?
can you, yeah, I was, it was kind of underwhelming. I mean, I do think that like some things were kind of addressed. Like we finally see Carmi get with his girlfriend, right? Because remember like that
Yeah,
freezer thing, they finally start talking again. But I think honestly, the person who had the most like character development in the damn show is probably Richie.
yeah,
Um, he's actually like I think that this was his season. I think Richie and then Sydney, they're the ones who kind of shine.
yeah,
But no, you're right. I think the Bear maybe losing some luster there.
yeah. Um, yeah. Like I said, I haven't heard anything about it, and I haven't felt an overwhelming urge to go watch it. Even though every time I see it, I'm like, oh shit, I need to watch that. I just find other stuff to watch. Um, for Best Limited Anthology, Adolescence won. I don't think that's a surprise for anybody that watched Adolescence.
Yeah.
Um,
Can I say something? Like I feel super validated about two things that happened, three things that happened at the Emmys. I wasn't even watching because I was like, I think I was
yeah,
tired.
neither did I. Yeah.
But certainly all the accolades Adolescence got,
hmm
and especially with that actor. I mean, I knew like
That kid.
this
Oh, and
kid's
Cooper.
going
Yeah.
places. Owen Cooper is going places. Now the
Yeah.
youngest ever nominated in his category.
Yep.
Dude, he destroyed it. And then of course the other thing piece was Penguin.
Kristen
I feel
Milioti.
like when gosh, what's her name? Jodie Foster won I think it was the Golden Globes for the category and Kristen lost. I felt like that was political. I felt like what nobody
hmm
watched. Like
I did.
really?
I watched True Detective, and it was good.
Was it good?
But I
Okay.
do not think she was better than Jodie
Thank
Foster's
you.
a fantastic actress, so that's
She
not.
is.
I mean, it's kind of unfair to just look at them by name and choose. But what Kristen Milioti did in The Penguin was better than what Jodie Foster did in True Detective. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that Kristen Milioti is overall a better actress than Jodie Foster, who has had an amazing career. But for those two performances, Kristen Milioti was better, in my opinion.
Yeah, like I just how she yeah, I don't know if anyways, I don't want to digress too much. But anyway, I just felt like it was a bit of a vindication and I loved her acceptance speech. It was brilliant. And then of course, Mr. Milchick, the fact that he
Yes.
after his performance in the season finale of Severance, I'm like that whole I'm just thinking like the whole boom and then like the dancing like in the
Uh-huh.
like dude, you just clinched the award like just from that.
Dude, he's
And
so hardcore. And just in everything that he does, dude, he's so perfectly that character.
Trammell, what's his first name? Anyways, but yeah,
Trammell Tillman, yeah.
Terrell Tillman, and he's an Alpha, which is like my fraternity, Alpha Phi Alpha, Black fraternity, Martin Luther King Jr., Thurgood Marshall. Anyway, but that's awesome. I didn't know that actually. Anyway, I just had to say that really quick. I love it when we talk about performances on this show and then they end up like winning because that's what happened with
Yep.
everything everywhere all at once.
Yep.
We lauded both Jamie Lee Curtis and why am I forgetting her name? But you know who I'm talking
Yeah.
about, the lead.
Yeah.
So we lauded her. Anyway,
Um, yeah. So obviously, like you said, adolescent Stephen Graham won. Aaron Doherty, was that the wife?
That was the psychiatrist,
psychologist.
social
Oh, that's
worker.
right. That's right.
Yeah, in episode 3.
She was really good in that scene. I
Yeah.
kind of wish, though, that Deidre O'Connell had won for the Penguin. I think what she did in the Penguin was pretty incredible
Her
too.
mom,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah.
She
Yeah,
also
that
had more screen time.
and Adolescence had two actors in that category. So Christine Tremarco, which I'd have
Hmm.
to look it up, but presumably is the wife or the mom. Uh, and then let's see, anything else interesting? The studio cleaned up. I started that. I haven't gone back to actually watch it for real. But I know that it's supposed to be amazing. Dan Gilroy won for Andor, which I think kind of had to, based on the other things that are in that category. I think that that series, for what it is and for what it kind of says about today's world, was
Yeah.
brilliantly written. So it was very poignant this season, especially. Um, Funny enough, Slow Horses is the director for a drama series, and I definitely think it. I think it's more of a comedy than The Bear, which ends up in the comedy category all the time, for some stupid reason. But Slow Horses is funny, but dramatic. Again, I this is one that I would recommend to anybody that hasn't seen it. If you have Apple TV, especially if you like Gary Oldman at all, he is not the main character, but he is incredible in it. Um, but oh, Hannah Einbinder won for Hacks.
Yeah.
This might be her first win for Hacks. I'm not sure, but that show's fantastic. Also, she's great in it. Then Britt Lauer won for Severance for lead actress. Again, great season. She was doing double duty, playing effectively two characters for a while, and being really sly about it. Like so good that you actually have to kind of go back and look at what she's doing to really respect the amount of work that she put in. So I definitely like that. Trammell Tillman, obviously. Um, Gene Smart won for Hacks again. That's a tough one, but at the same time, I don't see anybody that was going to beat her. Um, Kristen Bell and Nobody Wants This was pretty funny, but I don't think she was like mind-blowingly great. Quinta Brunson's great in Abbott Elementary, but the
It's
characters have
just a
been kind
very
of
different show where it's like her and Adam Brody together are the
yeah,
main
it is that is true.
characters.
That is true. Io Dabiri and the Bear, I didn't I feel like
She's
Andrea,
already
you said
won.
yeah, and for me in season three, I didn't feel like she was the standout. It sounds like in season four, she kind of is more of the standout.
Yes.
But for me in season three, I thought she was good, but she wasn't the main deal. Like even then, a lot of it was Richie, a lot of it was, you know, Carmi's problems and stuff like that. Um, so yeah, so the Emmys, I mean, I look at it and I don't have any really big disagreements. Like I look at it, I don't think, at least where I see some differences, some things that maybe I would have done different. Um, I don't feel like it was a robbery. Like you said, when you give it to Jodie Foster instead of Kristen Milioti because she's Jodie Foster for the Golden Globe, that feels like a robbery a little bit. But I think this one was pretty solid. And I can tell you too, every show that won, I think is worth going out and watching. Adolescence, if you haven't watched that, incredible. The Penguin. I don't care if you like comic book movies or not. That show was friggin' incredible. Lauren, you actually watched that, right? Like you're not a comic book person and you watched The Penguin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like a
It does not
comic
feel like
book
it at all.
show. It's drama. It's a good,
Crime
solid
drama.
drama,
I actually
crime drama. Yeah.
for best actor in a drama was he even nominated?
That's crazy. I feel like I don't think he's really gotten the accolades I thought he was going to get for that
Agreed.
role.
I agree with that, especially
He
just putting on the suit and everything he had to do for that. That's another level.
and I think what always got me, what always drove me like crazy, yeah, he was not nominated, was you would watch the show, and then if you watch the after thing where they're talking to
Yes.
him, all of a sudden he's Irish, funny,
Skinny,
Colin
white
Farrell again.
voice.
Yeah, you're like,
Yeah.
how the hell is this? Like,
He talks like
what?
this with his beady eyes,
Yeah,
talking like this. What was the kid's name? I still feel like the worst
yeah,
part, he actually choked the kid. Yeah, I gotta kill you, and his eyes were just like dart back and forth.
yeah,
Like it was just like, what?
yeah. He
He
was
was
a
so good.
different person. Like, if it,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, like I said, I really can't speak to everybody in that category. Although I watched Severance, I watched The Last of Us, I watched Slow Horses. All of those performances are great. Colin Farrell to me was better than all of those.
Hmm.
To be fair, I don't even know that Pedro Pascal should be in
It,
the lead actor. Not because he's not great. He is fantastic as Joel, and Joel's a great character. But his character was much more minimal in The Last of Us season two. So he should be removed from that category, not because he's not amazing, because he was as Joel, but that isn't even a lead actor part to me. Like that's a supporting actor that season.
Because he dies midway through, right? Or
He
something like that,
dies
or
in
no?
the
like the
first
second
episode, second
episode.
episode. Yeah, like it's
Yeah.
pretty much
So
right
the
away.
nominees for that category, lead actor in a drama series, were Sterling K. Brown for
Hmm.
Paradise, Gary Oldman for
Yep.
Slow Horses, Pedro Pascal for Last of Us, Adam Scott for Severance, and then Noah Wiley who won for The Pit.
Yep. Yeah, I
So
think I would have swapped out Pedro Pascal and Colin Farrell without question. And even if Colin Farrell didn't win, he should have been up there. Like that to me is a miss. That is
a bit of
probably the
a huge
biggest.
snub.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
probably the biggest miss in
Uh,
this whole thing is Colin Farrell not being in the lead actor. Um,
Yeah.
again, I haven't watched Paradise, but I know Sterling K. Brown's awesome. Like he's a great actor. And I
Hmm.
do, like I said, I want to go back and watch it. It's him and the guy that played Cyclops in the X-Men movies.
I know what you're talking about.
What's his bucket? And I think he guy's name's on the tip of my tongue, but he plays the president, and he gets, at least I think in the first episode, I think he gets killed, and so Sterling K. Brown is like the head of the Secret Service, I think, and then the whole show is about him trying to figure out what the hell happened. I think I could be talking right out of my ass, but
James Marsden.
James Marsden, yeah,
Now, Isabella Merced, I know that you were kind of a fan of her performance in The Last of Us. Do you
yep.
think that was a snub, or do you think that's just is what it is?
I don't know who else is in supporting actor for drama.
For what actress? Supporting
No, supporting
actress?
actress, yeah.
Yeah, so
Comedy.
it was four women from wait, comedy or drama?
Yeah, four of the women in White Lotus. I
Or
just
White
don't agree with that
Lotus,
at all.
Patricia Arquette. Yeah, I think they were good, but not award worthy, especially
Yeah,
for this past season, not good. And actually, the winner was Catherine Lanassa, who was in The Pit, who's
yeah.
fantastic,
So yeah,
which I'll
I
talk
do
about
think,
shortly. Yeah.
yeah, I think Isabella Merced probably should have replaced one of those women in the White Lotus. I just didn't think White Lotus was that great. I didn't think the season was that great. I mean, Carrie Coon was good because Carrie Coon's Carrie Coon, but I don't even know if she was that great.
It
Parker
was the worst
Posey,
season. I'm sorry,
oh,
man.
easily, easily. Like
Yeah.
I was not impressed by it. And then, I mean, I love Amy Lou Wood, little gap tooth girl. But
I was gonna say, did Teeth get nominated? I'm an
yep,
asshole. Sorry.
yep.
Rude.
But hey, it's defining characteristic.
Mhm.
Did she get nominated?
She
Yeah,
did get
no, she
nominated.
did, she did.
Okay, fine.
Four of the women from that show got nominated, and I just, to
Yeah.
me, that's too much. Like that would imply
Parker
that this is
Posey did.
the best show that there was, and this season was not good.
Yeah.
And
I,
and
if I was like a toothpaste company, I would absolutely be throwing money at her. Like, yo, we need to like, can you do commercials for us?
hey, and she is cute. Like
Yeah,
she's
she's
in the
funny.
public eye. Like she's, but like Jason Isaacs, Walton Goggins were nominated, Sam Rockwell was nominated. Like there too
Sam
many
Rockwell
people
was
were.
barely in it.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's one episode.
too many people were nominated for that
Ridiculous.
series
Yeah, I agree. That
based on
was
how good
so
it was.
silly.
Like the yeah, and somehow supporting actor and actress have like seven available nominations or something like that. White
Yeah,
Lotus has
it's
three of the
wild.
best supporting males and four of the supporting females. and it wasn't that good. Like how can you have that many people nominated and have the show not be that
I'm
good?
holding back, but you know where I'm going,
Yeah.
Kev, as
So
far
I
as
feel
like
like funny
what
enough, I said that there weren't like I don't have a lot of disagreements with the Emmys. I think I have disagreements with the nominations, not necessarily the winners. I can stand behind almost every single winner.
yeah.
There's a couple that I would like to see different, but I do think some people got hosed out of nominations because of the show. I think Bella Ramsey being in there for lead actress in a drama series. I don't know if I'd put her in there. She was really good. Um, uh, Kind of great as the character. I think they could have taken some bigger swings with her character. She could have gone a little darker, gone a little crazier. Um,
Was Caitlin
but
Dever nominated? No,
no,
right?
no, she wasn't enough. I would bet money that unless
Next
the
year.
show does poorly next season, which there's a chance that it will because people are being all pissy about it. But she will
Mm,
be the main character next season,
gotcha.
and I think she'll be nominated.
Cool.
She's amazing, and she should be nominated for Best Actress, not supporting
Morgan.
next season.
Cool.
But apparently, if Bella Ramsey shows up in 2 episodes, she'll be up there for Best Actress too, because why wouldn't she be? Um, but yeah, okay. So The Pit.
The Pit, guys, this show is chef's kiss, fucking awesome. It really is. So I never watched ER. This is before my time. My
Mm-hmm.
parents watched ER. I remember Thursday nights, like in the late 90s, early 2000s. My
Mm-hmm.
brother and I were not allowed to disturb between that 1 hour on Thursdays. Like, mom and dad, door closed. We're watching ER. Don't come in unless you want to see like blood and guts and everything. Like, we knew not to come in. So, a girlfriend of mine was telling me about the pit a few weeks ago. And after the Emmys and how well it did in terms of just the number of awards that it won. And after reading some reviews, I thought I got to give this a try. So Monday night I started. There are 15 episodes. I am 12 episodes in, so hopefully we'll finish it. If not tomorrow, then by Monday. It takes place in a hospital in Pittsburgh, and it takes place over the course of a 15-hour shift. Each episode is 1 hour of that 15-hour shift. Noah Wiley is the attending doctor, Dr. Michael Rabinovich, they call him Dr. Robbie, essentially. And he is so good. He is tough. He's nostalgic. You find out his own personal trauma. This particular shift is a shift that brings back a lot of memories, and you find out why. In particular, it's the anniversary of something that had happened in his life that's not good from his past. And as the shift goes on, the cases get more severe, and then there's a traumatic event that happens during the day of the shift, which episode 11 and episode 12, which I'm on right now, is where it's really peaking in terms of just the caseload of people coming in as a result of this event that's really caused and wreaked havoc on the city of Pittsburgh, which is causing their trauma unit and their specific ER room to get flooded with people. So I won't give that away. They have that day in particular, 4 new doctors starting. 3 of them are med students. One of them, I believe, is like coming from the vet or worked with vets, and she's coming in. That doctor's name is Dr. King, and she is played by Taylor. It's Bryan Cranston's daughter, essentially.
Okay, yeah.
And I've never seen her before, but her name is Taylor Dearden. And then you have 3 doctors that are senior level that work under Noah Wiley's Dr. Robbie's character. You've got this doctor, black woman, Dr. Heather Collins, who you find out early on, like in the first episode, that she's pregnant, and she goes through a lot of ebbs and flows and her own stuff during the first couple of episodes, and she's keeping her pregnancy very private. You've got a doctor by the name of Dr. Frank Langdon, who is a senior doctor on staff, and then you've got Dr. McKay, who is a single mom, and you see like within the first couple of episodes, she has a dark past of her own. She's wearing an ankle bracelet that she's concealing throughout
Mm.
most of the episodes, and you come to find a few episodes in why she has an ankle bracelet. So overall, just the chemistry and dynamic between these doctors, it's a very stressful environment, as you can imagine. The cases that come in are pretty intense, but also just very much so things that you probably wouldn't see on ER, if anything, just given the nature of today and some of the, yeah, correct, drama. Kevin, you and I spoke last week about, oh God, Margaret.
Hmm. Hmm.
Are you there, God? It's me, Margaret. That character who plays Margaret, she comes in, and granted, this is like maybe 4 or 5 years after. She is in episode maybe like three, four, five, and she is a young girl who's 16 or 17 who comes in wanting an abortion. She comes in with her aunt, and at first she's going through the process of that. You have like the ethics portion come into play, and then her mom comes in. Apparently, the aunt was playing the mom. The mom is pro-life, and in the state of Pennsylvania, you need to have parental consent in order to get an abortion. So that definitely is a very troubling and could be somewhat controversial to the viewer watching this particular case. You see domestic violence. You see a potential human trafficking situation, someone coming in who has an STD, and the person that is accompanying her is believed to be her pimp. So, yeah, like stuff like that, which is pretty crazy. I don't think things like that were maybe talked about on ER, et cetera. So it's definitely more topical in terms of the type of cases. One of the last episodes I saw, a woman was giving birth, and they're like, "Where's the father?" Both dads come rushing in, and apparently this woman, she already has two kids of her own, and she shares a classroom with one of the the gay dads, and they like make a joke. They're like, "Yeah, we share a room, and now we're sharing the womb," and it was cute. And then you get to see her give birth to the baby, which was kind of, yeah, you better have a strong stomach because you see everything. And yeah, you have drug addicts, you have homeless people. There's one doctor, it's his first day. He's one of the student doctors, British actor. He's so good. Within the first four episodes, he gets peed on, he gets bled on. He has to change his scrubs like three or four times every single episode because he gets some sort of bodily fluid on him, and it's hysterical to the point where they run out of scrubs in his size. So like by like episode 5 or 6, he's wearing like scrubs for like a really tiny person, and they like barely fit him. So that's really funny. Yeah, but overall, it's such a solid show. Something traumatic happens, as I mentioned, in the town, which results in a large number of people having to come into the ER between episode 11 and 12. There's definitely tension between a senior doctor and one of the the student doctors who is pre-residency. So that's definitely interesting to watch. And just the dynamic between the whole staff and how they work as a unit in the ER. And it's definitely a very stressful environment. Pittsburgh has a very, I mean, it's an urban population, but you have a combination of people that come from economic means, and then you have people coming off the street or, in more disadvantaged situations that are coming into those doors. So you get to see it all.
Yeah, I know there was a little drama around this show when it started because the creators of ER actually tried to sue, I
Correct.
think, Noah Wiley in
For
particular
being in this
because
show.
yeah, and I know that one of the issues that came up was when they were originally writing it, they thought about making it a sequel to ER.
To ER.
Yeah, like it was originally thought of in that way. And then they scrapped that and went on to, create the characters as new characters and do all that. And that was part of the lawsuit, which I think was ultimately tossed.
Right.
Or maybe it was settled, I'm not sure. But yeah, obviously, even with that publicity, it's obviously doing really well. So
Totally.
pretty
I
great
think it
to
was like
see.
Mike, is it Michael Crichton, Michael Crichton? His wife, I
Yeah,
think, was like the one who
that's right.
initiated
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
It's wild though because it's like that was over 15 years ago when it ended. Let this guy do what he wants, creative ventures or not. it shouldn't affect is it doesn't undermine what ER was. ER ended
Right.
on its own years ago. It's not like he was doing both at the same time.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. It's sort of a silly lawsuit to drop, I think.
Right.
But you're trying to make your money, I guess. But other than it being in an emergency room, which I don't think you have a uh, a patent on, in
No,
or copyright on, I think you got to let it go. Um,
totally.
but yeah, I heard, and I still haven't watched it, but I heard his acceptance speech was great too.
It was.
Um,
Hmm.
and
He
and
thanked those first responders and those that work in the
mhm.
ER.
Yeah, yeah, and to be fair, like he for somebody who's not a doctor, he spent a lot of time in an emergency room, at least situations, right? Like, because he
Yep.
was in ER, I think from season one, and after ER, he kind of struggled to find his way. He
Mm.
did like the Librarians, which was kind of a corny like TBS type show, which he was in. That was fun. Like it's a fun adventure show, but it was not like ever going to be nominated for any awards or anything.
Hmm.
And I think he took him a little bit to figure out, where he wanted to be again. But it's good to see him coming out on top, and the show is good enough. It's got a second season.
Mm.
So we'll see how that goes. I'm really curious what you do for a show that's made like this. If it's supposed to take a place over a 15-hour shift, if the next season's going to do the same thing, and if so, how do you create
Yeah,
that drama
so
without?
I have some insight on that. I heard from an interview. So it's going to come out, I think, in January or February 2026. They already got renewed, and it takes place over the course of a July 4th weekend, which
Oh,
makes
but
sense. 'Cause
it'd be over the weekend or just over the night of July 4th and
a
July
shift,
5th or
yeah.
something. Okay.
So the shift is over July 4th weekend or during, they said July 4th.
Hmm.
So, which makes sense because I think that's a pretty
Yeah, it'd be pretty busy.
busy holiday in general when it comes to
Yeah.
ER visits and stuff. So, yeah, but overall it's really solid. I mean, I spoke with my mom this evening. I've been trying to get her to watch it all week, and she started it early this afternoon. And her and my dad came back from dinner. I talked to my dad, and he's like, "She's already on to episode two. She didn't want to watch a movie with me. She wants to watch episode two of The Pit." So I'm like, "Oh, great. She's really liking it."
Yeah.
But
Yep.
it's solid. I think you both would find. Oh, I don't know how like squeamish you guys are with like blood and stuff. If it doesn't bother you, then that's fine. But it's really good.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I wanted to watch the first episode before we recorded tonight, and like I said, I just didn't get to it. But
Hmm.
um, I think I'm at the point now where I'm ready to give that a watch. Although I'm in the middle of like three different things, so I got to finish those things
Yeah.
up too. Um, but yeah, I'll finish. I'm behind on Ozark, so I got to get back into watching that and finish that one up, and then I think everything else is still kind of coming out. Alien Earth is coming, but that's one episode a week.
When does
Task
that
is one
finish
episode a
up?
week. This week, I think, actually. I think this next episode's the last one for Alien Earth, which is crazy.
Mm,
But yeah, there's a lot of stuff, but I think The Pit is worth watching. It almost sounds like it would be kind of an interesting undertaking to watch the entire thing back to back to back and actually like experience that 15-hour shift. But yeah,
yeah.
should be a good watch. And obviously it did well because it was nominated all over the place. So
Yeah. And Noah Wiley for sure. He deserved what that win. And Catherine Lanasa, same thing. She's the head charge nurse on the floor. So she goes through quite a bit over those 15-hour shifts at the 15-hour shift as well. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I didn't think I'd like a medical drama like this. The only like medical thing I've watched before is like a soap opera like General Hospital, but it does not compare to this. This
yeah, no.
is really in the hospital the entire time. I'm not sure if ER was like that too, only in the emergency room, or if it filmed outside of the
I
ER.
know there was like a season where a couple of them went over to Africa and they did like Doctors Without Borders and some stuff like that.
Gotcha.
And it was definitely not not always in the ER and not
Mm.
it would go, even a single episode would go over the course of multiple shifts. So it wasn't tied into a single event necessarily. But
Yeah.
um,
This is all one shift starting at I think it's 7 to 8 a.m. too. Well,
yeah.
I'll watch it, so probably like early evening.
Mm.
So, but I'm really enjoying it. I'll probably finish, if not tomorrow, then Monday or Tuesday. I'm looking forward to yeah, finishing it up and then yeah, seeing what I'm definitely down to watch the next season that comes out in early 2026. So, yeah, I think whoever started this, kudos to that person who directed it and wrote the series. It's really solid. I'm gonna jump off, but I hope you guys have a good rest of your show.
All right. I think we will. We got some stuff to go through for sure. So,
Cool. Night. Bye.
all right, cool. Well, because we overlap on almost everything, why don't you talk about the long walk first? Because I feel like that's more pertinent anyways. And also I'm just kind of excited about it.
All right. So I think one of the things I'll just start with first is whenever I go see a movie, I do prefer to have it be a solitary experience. And the reason why is because when you ask someone to go see a movie with you, then you're kind of worried about like whether or not they're having a good time, they're enjoying it or whatever. So one of the first things I did, because I was hanging out with my dad, my dear old dad, who is like, he's up there now, right? And I was like, okay, let me like read the parental warnings for this movie. And luckily there's nothing crazy, but there is something I think that needs to be serviced. There is a lot of defecation in this movie. I was
Mm,
not ready for people taking craps in the movie. And they show it. Like they show people like dropping deuces and like butt cheeks and dropping deuces. I felt that that was so unnecessary. And I'm just like traumatized by that, honestly. But outside of that, I will also say like by the end of the film, my dad was just kind of like, so what was the point? Like, what was this about? You know, and I kind of explained, like, well, I think it was kind of an allegory for like capitalism. You know, I know that back in the day it was supposed to be like an allegory for the Vietnam War. But I think that this time around it is about capitalism and the idea of people being so desperate that they're willing to participate in an endeavor that is absolutely like no, there's no winners really. I mean,
yeah.
even the person
Yeah.
who wins at the end is like, really, like what did you win exactly? But the star of this film really is the performances. I do think like if you go back to like movies like Rumblefish or like The Outsiders, like back with the Brat Pack, I feel
Hmm.
like in several years there will be actors from this movie who might go on to bigger things, but this is kind of their first role, and all of the accolades you're hearing about the lead are totally, I think, valid. It's David Johnson. He's everything that you're expecting him to be, which is like very different from his performance in Alien Romulus, but still very charismatic. And every time he's on screen, you're drawn to him and his performance. It's very much a buddy film. Like you definitely, it's the bond between him as McVrees and Cooper Hoffman, who plays Garrity. And by the way, yeah, Cooper Hoffman, who plays Garrity, is the son of Philip Seymour Hoffman. I did not know
Nice.
that going into the film, but that's really awesome because Francis Lawrence, who directed the film, also, of course, directed Philip Seymour Hoffman in Hunger Games: Catching Fire and the second to last film.
I can
So
see it looking at him knowing that. I don't think if I didn't know that, I wouldn't be like that guy is Philip Seymour Hoffman's kid. But like knowing that now and looking at him, I can see the resemblance.
Dude, you're exactly right. Like I didn't, I only found that out after like reading about the film after I saw it. But the bond between those two, like in the film, it's a brotherhood. Um, but yeah, no, I think that, had I watched the film by myself, like I would have had a higher like opinion of it. It's a good film, don't get me wrong. But I just think that, when like my dad's he's a classy dude. I'm just being real, So I'm like, why would I take my dad to see a movie where people are dropping deuces and they're like showing the deuce dropping? Like, what is that? Like, don't have this be a reflection on my taste in movies. But but yeah, but again, that's my only complaint. But no, it's a solid film. It ends pretty, in my opinion, ambiguously. I read the book, and that's the other thing about it. Like the book and the movie, like the last, like I'd say 20% of the book and the last 20% of the movie are different. And I think had the film ended the way the book did, it would have felt a little weird, But I feel like the movie was more with the times, but it
Mhm.
was still also at the same time. I think you're a smart dude, so you're probably reading like between the lines here. But like at the same time, like unless you're like somewhat nihilistic, and my dad is not nihilistic at all, like you're almost like, what was the point? Like, really? Like, did you really win? But if you're someone who's okay with the idea of like dying for a cause, then like, yeah, yeah, hell yeah, there was meaning to this? So here's what I will say though, and I even if I hadn't seen it with my dad, I would say my anticipation for the film exceeded the experience. And I hate to say that. I really do. But like I was, as you guys know, I was super excited to see the film. I saw it literally the weekend it was opening, and I was so excited, and I knew my only chance to see it. I was in California. And I was like, this is my only chance. Had brunch with my dad. And then it's like, hey, do you want to go see this movie before I got to get back with my fiance? So I had like a 2 hour window. We went and saw the movie, and I apologized to him after it was over. But I still don't regret going. So all that said, talk to me, man. Like what have you heard? What are your thoughts? What were your thoughts on the book? Lay it on me.
Yeah, I really need to reread it because it's been a long time. You said you read it?
No, I read like a synopsis of the
Oh,
book, and
okay,
I
okay.
read like comparisons between like what happened in the book versus the film.
Yeah, so it's in the Backman book. So number one, he wrote this in the late 70s, early 80s.
It was his first book, I think. They think this, he wrote this while he was in college or
Very
maybe high
possible,
school.
very possible. All of those books would make sense because he wrote, Rage is the one that you can't find anymore. Like if you go buy the
Right.
Backman books now, there's only three in there. There should be four. Um, and I think forget what the other two are off the top of my head, but I do kind of want to reread it before I watch it. And since it doesn't seem like I'm going to get to the theater to watch it, that's going to give me time to do it. But I do remember that it's just again very similar to the movie and what you said is that it's these guys that are in this situation. They put themselves in the situation for whatever reason. They get close to each other, but at the same time, as you're walking this walk, you're watching these people that you're walking with get picked off and killed. Like they are dying because um that's the game, right? Like
Well, the game
the
is you
game.
have to keep pace. So
Hmm.
basically, in the book, I believe it's you have to keep a 4 miles per hour pace in the book. In the movie, it's 3 miles per hour, which is absolutely more reasonable. But they're not sleeping, and
You
I
can't
walk.
sleep,
I
yeah.
love walking. You're literally like people are like they're sleepwalking. Literally, they're sleeping, but they're walking. And it's like and it's really sad because it starts off with like I think it was like 20 or something like that, and you're literally seeing them picked off one by one, breaking at different points, getting killed for taking a shit, pardon my French. Like, but at some point, like you just have to, like it's just, it's a bit heart-wrenching, and and then it's like how bad does life have to be where you volunteer to be part of this thing? And if you win the walk, like you're set for life. It literally is like the Hunger Games before the Hunger Games. And it absolutely like inspired everything from Battle Royale to the Hunger
Hmm.
Games to whatever to probably even Squid Game. Like this was the OG. And I think that's like there's something to be said for that. I'm sorry. I know I asked you for your opinion, but I had to jump in there really quick. But yeah, the rules are you have to keep up. You get like I think th three or two warnings, and the third is like you just get popped. So it's like
Yep.
warning one, warning two, and then like literally show the gunshot to the head or whatever.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's brutal, and the book ends in again. I should probably leave it vague for anybody that hasn't watched the movie, just in case, even though they're different. I don't want anybody to be thinking about how it may or may not end, but definitely the end of the book is a little heavy and a little um, again, and it's actually a little open-ended in its own way too. Um, and and you can see like the ending of the book makes perfect sense in regard to everything that happened. I say book, it's a story more than a book, but um, it ends in a way that makes sense for what these people went through. Because you do finish with your main character. Obviously, the whole point of this thing is your main character can't be the one that dies, right? Because he's the main character, right? So at least in the book, like you're following his story, and it would be shitty storytelling to be like, oh, he's dead. Let's move on to this character we haven't talked about for 50 pages, right? You can probably get away with that in a movie because you can bounce it back and forth, I think, between characters a little more. So I could see that potentially being a change, but in the book, you're following this one character. And you're pretty sure that the book's not going to end 20 minutes before the thing's over when he dies, right? So he gets going to get to the end,
First
but the
person, yeah.
yeah, but the way that he's affected by the end of that story is very real. And like you said, like, yeah, at the end, if you're that guy and you went through all this stuff, you would be asking, on top of all the other mental shit that you would go through to get there, you'd be asking yourself, why did I do this thing? Like, what did I even get out of this? And I think, yeah, it is a good book, and it's actually should be a short read. So I do want to read it before I watch the movie again. I've got the book on my shelf, so I just need to grab it and read it.
All right. Well, that inspires me to maybe read, like, download it and read it too, just like for a comparison. The only thing I would say is if I was in that world, I would train. Like I got the impression that these people would just like volunteer to do the walk. And I'm like, dude, if you're going to do this walk, train. Like you should be training for this because why would you sign up for this knowing that their chances of dying are like super high? Like,
Yeah, and it's interesting because you could take that story and you could make this for like prisoners or something, right? Like, oh, if you finish this, you get your freedom or some shit like that. But then you are putting people in a position of like winning is winning, right? These people are doing it for some other reason, and like I said, winning may not be winning, but that is part of the grit and the darkness and the twistedness of the story, which is why I think it serves the story better for them to be people that um, chose to be there, right, and not for some reason that they almost have to be.
right,
Like it wasn't a draft. Like you didn't get chosen to go do this thing, and you have no choice. Like you chose to be there, and you chose to be there for whatever your reasons are, but they're not necessarily required reasons for you. So,
no. It just speaks to what kind of world are we living in? And again, for me, I found it a little haunting because I do feel like, it may be a critique on the social Darwinism that
mhm.
some of us find ourselves living.
Yep. Yeah. All
Go
right,
see
cool.
it, but if you have like scatological, actually, I remember the last thing I'll say is again, I'm like this is my third time mentioning it, but I feel like that should be a warning, like scatological, like that's a term, right? I feel like th there should be a scatological warning for some films. I think that's legit. I think it's highly offensive.
That's fair.
Right.
All right, cool. Well, moving on from that into films that have something gratuitous in them. We can talk about 28 Years Later, which had gratuitous man dong in it. Um, um, but yeah, that just dropped on Netflix today. I didn't get to see it in the theaters, but I did just recently rewatch the first two films, like
Nice.
just in the last like month, I think, um,
Nice.
because for the first time, like ever since it was in the theaters, 28
They're
days later
available.
became available on streaming. Like you couldn't buy it if you could find it on disc or anything. It was like a bootleg copy. And I forget the reason. I even looked it up and I can't remember the reasoning. But there was some distribution issues that they had rights wise that they couldn't do it. And they finally resolved those. It is now available on digital. You can buy it. I don't know. I'm still not sure that you can actually buy a physical copy of it. But it is available on streaming. And I purchased that and watched that one. And to me, like thinking about that and going into this third movie, the first movie feels like not exactly the same, but the first movie feels like Alien, where the second movie is Aliens. You have a movie that is gritty and dark and all that, and then you have an actual action film in the second one. So Alien to Aliens, right? Um, this third one is definitely not an action film, despite the action that's in it. In a lot of places, for me, it felt a little slow. It could have been more exciting, um, but it was overall for me, it was interesting. It was good, good enough. It ends in a really bizarre place, like the final scene. I was like, "What the fuck is happening?"
Very Clockwork Orange to me.
Right? Yeah,
Yeah.
and definitely sets up the next film for sure. How I don't know, like what they're gonna do, but like yeah, it's bookended by this character that we don't know anything about really, other than his origin story for 5 minutes, and then we see him again at the end, and he's very different than he was in the beginning, or maybe he's not. I don't know, but he definitely went through some shit in the beginning, and then 28 years later, he's a little crazy. Um, a little tracksuit mafia there in the zombie apocalypse. But one thing too, like we'll get there, but one thing that I thought was really cool is that this movie does a good job of pointing out that the rest of the world is still the rest of
So
the world.
normal.
Like
Yes.
this is now as this rage virus. It's not the zombie apocalypse. This rage virus that in the first movie is released by these idiots that are. I mean, I don't get me wrong. I believe in animal rights. Like I don't believe we should be testing things on animals, and probably for this exact reason. But these people break into this lab to release these monkeys that are being tested on, not realizing that they're being tested on with this rage virus, and so that's what releases the outbreak. Um, and yeah, so this happened in the UK. It gets locked down by the 28 years later film, so that um, basically this whole thing is stuck on this island. I was under the impression in the original that this got out and got to the rest of the world, but apparently either that's been
They fought it back. I think they even said it in the
retconned.
game.
Did they? Yeah, and then they
Yeah,
pushed
they
them all
fought it
kind of
back.
in England.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so that's where we are in 28 years later. So that's my quick take on it. What about you?
Man, I honestly, I liked it. I'll start by saying at first, like, I think Aaron Taylor Johnson is an underrated actor.
Hmm.
Because he is nothing like he is in other movies he's in. And I literally had to look him up. Yeah, that's him. That's him.
Yeah.
Cool,
Yeah.
awesome.
Sounds
Um,
different, looks different,
Sounds
everything.
different, looks different, everything. I think he's an American actor, so that's why I was like really
I,
surprised.
I
Is
don't
he
think
not?
he is.
Oh shoot, you look it up now. You're right. No, you're totally right. He's from England. My
Okay.
bad.
Yeah.
All right. So anyhow, scratch that. Um,
But see, that's how
the
good he
other
is, right? Like he's
right?
believably American. Yeah.
Yeah, because my first time I saw him was like it was oh my God, Kick-Ass. Kick-Ass was the first time I saw him.
Mm-hmm.
Then I saw him in Godzilla. Anyhow, and then Ray Fiennes for some reason, like I swear to God, I realize I don't think there's anything I've seen him in that I didn't like.
Yeah.
Like, and not even like I actually go, you're damn good. Like he is an amazing actor.
Yeah.
I gotta admit, he was giving me a little bit of my God, who's our boy from Locke. He was giving me a little bit of John
Mm-hmm.
Locke, in this movie. But anyway, I loved him. I think the kid, he did a
Yeah.
great
He's really
job.
good.
He's strong. And like at first I was like a little annoyed that he was being so like emotional and like, all about his mom. But then I realized you're a G, dude. Like you actually like took matters into your own hands, took care of your mom, and while like we finally got the answer, and it didn't wasn't a great answer, at least wasn't an answer, and we got some like peace and resolution with that situation. But no, I was totally drawn into this world, and I need the sequel. Like I am absolutely down with this Bone Kingdom thing. I think whatever it's going to be called for the sequel. Um, yeah, no, it was a great film. Oh, the Alpha, like, and the Alpha's like signature way of like taking people out. Like,
Yes.
yo,
Very
dude, like,
Predator-ish.
just like what? No, I remember reading like there was controversy around the ending of the film or people being underwhelmed or whatever. No, dude, like I thought this was great. This was everything that I was hoping for. Were there some slow parts? Yes.
Hmm.
Did I fall asleep at one point? Yes. But it's that but that I think was more about just where I was at versus the
And
movie
yeah,
itself.
and if you had watched that in the theater, that wouldn't
Yeah,
happen because
exactly.
you'd be so for sure. Like this is probably a movie that was a little better to watch in the theater.
Yes.
And you could get more wrapped up in the slower parts because it almost feels like two films, really, right? Because you have the beginning where the kid is coming into his own, right? So you've got that, and then you've got the part where he's trying to rescue his mom. And while it's one story, being a 2 hour movie, it feels like maybe a little much. Like they probably could have found a way to condense this by like 15 minutes, and made it a little tighter. But again, who am I to tell Danny Boyle and Alex Garland what to do? Like,
They're masters at their
yeah,
work. Yeah.
they're very, very good. I think Jodie Comer did an amazing job.
Yes.
She is another kind of like Aaron Taylor Johnson is an underrated actress. If you've not watched Killing Eve, she is spectacularly psychotic in that show. She is hilarious and just she is an absolute sociopath. Like she is crazy and she is funny, and you know that at any point she could kill you or everyone around you. Like she's a hit woman and she's crazy, and it's her and Sandra Oh. So if you like
Okay.
Sandra Oh,
I do like Sandra Oh.
give it a shot. Oh, give it a shot. It's a
Okay.
really, really
I
good
was
show.
just gonna say, and it's fun. I'm glad you said that because, like, honestly, check this out. So I'm watching her in the movie, and you know me and actor names, right? Am I like the king of actor names? Hell no. But I'm watching this movie, and I know her name is Jodie Comer. So I then go to Wikipedia and I'm like, what else have you been in? And you know what? The only thing that
Free
I've
Guy.
seen you in is Free Guy. So the fact that I know your name after only seeing you once, that's saying something. So yeah, she's got something, you
Yeah,
know?
she does. And she's so good in this because I thought for sure her ailment was dementia. Like early onset dementia.
I thought it was schizophrenia or something. That's what I thought.
That would have made sense too.
Yeah. Hmm.
Um, but it being brain cancer also makes perfect sense, right? So I
Yeah.
think that works. Um, but uh, but she did such a good job, going between these different stages of lucidity and where she is and all that. Um, and I thought I mean, she was great. She really was.
By the way, this is when I was getting drowsy. When they were sleeping, like, asleep, and all of a sudden, like, he's waking up and he's imagining like one of those slow ones, and then she like gets up and like kills it. Was that like, did that really happen? Or
Yeah,
was
yeah,
that
because the body's still there when they wake up.
okay,
So
there it is. She did.
he's
I love that.
asleep and it comes up and tries to eat a shoelace because it thinks it's a worm, which we see them doing earlier. Um, and then it realizes it's a shoelace, so it goes to attack him, and you see something throw a bag over his head. And then he wakes up the next morning, and the mom wakes up with him, and it seems like she was asleep with him. And you're like, oh, did somebody else come in to save them and then bail? And then it really quick, it shows her flashback in her kind of fuzzy brain of her. She's the one that did it, and she's like bashed its head against the thing and then left it there. So the body's still there the next morning. Um, and yeah, it's really good. And I think what's cool too is we get a little bit of lore in this thing too. We get a little bit of stuff that's moving forward. We find out that the people that are affected with the virus they're still people. So
Yeah.
one of them is pregnant. seemingly, apparently, just by the level of rage that he had by
Oh, it
the
was
alpha.
totally the alpha,
Yeah.
dude. Thousand
Um,
percent.
yeah. And so that's the alpha's baby. But Ray Fiennes' character points it out
Placenta.
is the placenta filters out the virus, and so the baby is born as a normal human baby despite having a mom that is infected. And the interesting part could be down the line, this baby could very well be a carrier of a cure, right? Because it potentially has the virus in its body, but because it was born, would have the antibodies to fight the virus. Possibly,
Beautiful.
possibly.
No, that's brilliant, dude. I
Yeah,
think that's totally where this is going.
yeah, and of course, obviously, no spoiler alert. They keep the baby alive at the end. Um, so that's interesting. You get to the what is the bone temple, I think is what they call it. And Ray Fiennes is amazing, very knowledgeable about all this stuff. It's very interesting to not
Iodine,
know.
prophylactic.
Mhm.
Keep going. Yep.
Yeah, but it's very interesting to not know where he came from because he has a lot of protections around himself. He's got a really good understanding of what's going on with these things. So you kind of wonder where his medical slash scientific degree and education is. You know, he knows that was morphine and something else very common is enough to basically put Samson, the giant alpha, to sleep. And so the only thing that bothered me about this movie is there was a couple of moments that felt a little too supernatural for the world that
Talk to
we're
me.
in with the crows. When the alpha was chasing them, before he
Oh, and
was
they would
chasing them,
just
of course,
go, yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah, it
yeah.
was like the crows
Yes.
all came right at them, and it felt like they were being
It was
controlled
the
somehow.
it was the Morbius bat swarm all
Yeah,
over.
yeah, and it just like that felt like it felt like we were moving towards something more supernatural than what the original was, which was just a virus in human beings. Now, what I did think was interesting is there was a crow. Remember the dad, and this is when the dad and the son are still out there. They go into this house and there's a dude hanging upside down.
Yes. Oh, it was eating.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So if a crow, um, could a crow potentially carry the virus either long term, or if it had pecked a body and then went and pecked somebody else immediately, they would be infected. So,
Mm.
like, if you could train the crows, could you spread the virus, quickly using them? Like, I thought maybe they were going to use that somehow, um, but you don't really see the intelligence in the infected in that way. The alpha is definitely more of a leader for sure.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, and then you had the Swedish kid Eric who he was funny. He was a good little moment in there. I love when he carries the mom this whole way, and they sit down and they're having a picnic and they have a revelation or whatever. And she's like, "Well, then let's go." And she jumps up and walks, and he's like, "She could walk this whole time." It's fucking great. Um, but yeah, to me, it's a good movie. It was a little slow in parts, a little long. So I can see why some people may rate it a little lower. And definitely the last scene is
Comes out
weird.
of nowhere.
Yeah, it comes way out
So
of nowhere.
the other thing I texted this to you is like, because I'm just weird like that, but whenever I love something and it's animated, you know where I'm going.
Mm.
I always imagine who would I trust to do a live action, right? And I thought the whole time, like, okay, we're gonna be a scout and go beyond the walls into like this area. And there's these different varieties of like Titans or like,
Hmm.
people like there's the slow ones, there's like the fast ones, and then there's the alpha, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like alpha is like maybe like the beast Titan or something. Like it was just like it was so cool seeing like just the varieties of um these zombies or whatever, and then realizing especially the first film, whenever you've got situations like this, it's not even really so much about like the monsters, it's about who are the real monsters, you
Yes.
know? And
Yes.
it's like I think in the first one it was humanity's the real monster. And I feel with this one, it's a bit of a mix, right? Because you're now seeing more of the humanity, as you pointed
Hmm.
out, of them. Like the alpha is just literally this dude who wants to like, live, I guess. Like
Yeah.
he's a smart one. He's a smart Titan.
Yeah.
So I just want so I do think that even the way the combat of the end, like where they're all jumping around and like killing them and everything, I was seeing like, ODM gear and like,
Hmm.
Levi. Like I'm like, I think you guys would get it. Like you guys would actually do a good job of like bringing AOT to life and keeping and not making it a dumb action movie like Michael Bay. You'd actually keep the substance, but still deliver the gore, right?
Yeah.
Even when the dad's like, you got to hit him in the neck, I'm like, the nape, like, come on. Like, I'm praying that they're thinking like that because I trust you guys. I do think yeah, Garland is particularly, I feel like he's a little too humanistic for my taste. Like, I feel
Yeah.
like sometimes like it's a little off-putting. Like, stop it, man. We're not like stop being so melodramatic. But at the same time, like this film just had that perfect mix. This kid, this kid's got heart. Would I want to live out there? Hell no. But the
Nah.
thing is,
Yeah.
like,
Nah. I'm good on the island, man. Like,
what?
yeah.
But he's so disillusioned that he's learned to like survive, but he was about to meet his end, and then those boys are like, "Yeah, we respect you. We're gonna shake your hand, and I'm ready." Now, Nia DaCosta, I don't know if you know that she's actually gonna be directing the second movie,
Okay.
but she is, and that's really I think cool.
What does she direct? Like, I
Well,
know the name. What does she
she's
direct?
only done two things, and one thing is good, the other thing is not so good.
One
She
of them is
directed
Captain Marvel, right?
The Marvels, correct.
The,
The
oh,
Marvels.
I
Not
like the
this, not the
Marvels.
first one. Okay, yeah, The Marvels, but it bombed, but she did direct that one. She had Candyman, the 2021 film, and that one did do good. But I
I
think
need
it's
to watch that,
really
but
cool. It's really cool. Oh wow. Despite being a box office bomb, it's still the highest grossing film directed by a black woman. Either way, I
the
think it's really
Marvels.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Either way, I think it's really cool. She's only 35. I think it's really
Is she
cool
really?
that
Wow.
Garland and Boyle are like, yeah, we're going to trust you with the second film. And of course, Boyle will come back, or maybe Garland. I think it's Boyle. Boyle will come back for the third film. But they said that they're only going to make the third film if this second film does well. And apparently they shot them back to back.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm going to support them.
For sure. For sure. This movie was really good, and like you said, I mean, the performances are great. The performances across the board are great. The kid's good. Jodie Comer's great. Ray Fiennes is obviously great. Um, Aaron Taylor Johnson's great. I love the complexity of his character.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, like he cares for and loves his wife, like wants to take care of her, but at the same time, like he's like this situation's fucked, and I'm young enough, and there's this cute girl in town that likes me, so I'm gonna go live my life, when I can.
But check
So
this
there's
out
that.
though. I felt so a couple things. So I love the immersive world building of the film too, because it's like they're making the most out of a really jacked up situation.
Hmm.
So the fact that there's this party for them after they get back, like they literally almost died. Like I'm like, wow, like I would just get smashed if I would be like drunk as fuck, and I'd absolutely be trying to just hook up. I don't care if I'm 12. Like that's terrible. Anyway, but I would be like, I'm alive, whatever, right? But I feel like where the dad went wrong was he made it about him. Like the
Yes,
fact that he
for sure.
embellished the story so much, he
Yeah,
was doing that just to look like the man. And while it worked, like it was still like the kid is like precocious. He just knew. He saw through it. Like
yeah,
you're
yeah.
a
He picked up on
scumbag.
it really fast. Yeah,
But I just wanted to, but yeah, you're right about being complicated because yeah, the dad really did love his son.
for sure.
And but I feel like the son was too young to be out there. Number one,
Sure.
you know, but I feel like the dad was like, I'm trying to get this school teacher punani, so let me risk my son's life so that we can have a party and I can smash, and that's not cool
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
record.
And like you see at the end, like he's obviously
Oh
very upset
yeah,
that his son's still out there. Um, and it's kind of a fuck you that the kid named the baby after the mom and then gave it to the dad.
yeah,
You're like,
thousand
oh man, it's
percent,
messed up. Um,
yes.
but that whole there's a whole Memento Mori scene and all that was great. Um, and it's just it's really well done, and it's funny to think of um, just Latin and how it works because memento mori means remember death, right? But was it memento amori means remember love,
Yes.
and mori and amori are one letter apart. Love and death is one letter apart.
I never even thought of
Yeah.
that.
So interesting little Latin lesson there that um, has nothing to do with the movie, really, other than the fact that they used it. But it's kind of interesting that love and death are that close together. But it definitely works in this world too, and I love that she understands, at the end what's happening, takes the um, takes what the doctor gives her and says, "Okay, yeah, this is what I got to do. I can't be a burden on everybody else. I'm not going to get better. It's not like they've got chemotherapy and labs everywhere in this world that they're in. And obviously, no one's going to pop her off the island and go take care of her over in Switzerland or Sweden or whatever. So, she knows the best thing she can do is die. So, um, but yeah, man, good flick. I feel like this is one of those movies that exists in a kind of a horror universe, but I have a hard time calling it a horror film. I don't feel like it was terrifying most of the time. But you definitely feel the tension. Like to me, it's a drama in a horror world rather than being a horror film. Last week I talked about Bring Her Back, which is a horror film for sure. This one, I mean, I can even argue the first film. Um, it's more about the people in the situation than it does about actual horror. It's more about humanity than it's about horror. And I think there's a distinction there to be made. Um, but I can see why this falls under horror. It's definitely in that universe. So good film though. I'm ready. I'm very looking very forward to the next one. And I know that Cillian Murphy's supposed to come back at some point.
Correct.
Um,
At the end of the next movie.
is it
But then
okay.
he'll be a bigger deal. But he said I'll be more in the third movie. But like we'll see what happens. But that's really cool. I want to see what comes of Cillian Murphy's character um
Yeah.
after all these years.
Yeah, because it'll be at least 28 years after the first one, right? I love too that at the very end, when they're starting to tell the boy story, they said 28 days later. One more time.
Yes.
Like they jumped forward again, and you're like, okay. Which is actually impressive because the kid basically has been surviving on his own for a month, basically, which is impressive too. Like he's doing well for himself. Um, which I'm glad they should have showed the scenes of the old man training the kids, right? Because otherwise you would just be like, why is this kid a fucking superhero out here on his own, just pulling it off, right? But they kind of explain that these kids are being taught this from an early age to be ready to go out. He still went out too young, but um, which to be fair is like almost like the Dark Tower series by Stephen King, which Roland the gunslinger challenge kids are training and to become a gunslinger, you have to challenge the teacher, who is incredible. His name is Court. And Roland decides to be the youngest person to ever challenge his teacher because he finds out that his dad is cheating on his mom and he wants to stand up to his dad. And to do that, he's got to be a gunslinger and do this. And and so yeah, you've got this thing where your character's too young. They should not be doing this thing, and probably aren't actually equipped for it. But because they have this fire in them, they can go a little further than they would be able to otherwise. Like this kid is not particularly agile. He's not like your Mary Sue character where he's like a super ninja when he needs to be. Like in the beginning, he's a bad shot.
Yes.
Like he's not.
They're no, had his dad not
Yeah, if he
followed
wasn't
up,
with
they
his
would
dad,
have
he'd be
been
dead.
toast.
Yeah,
Yes.
for sure. Yeah.
Oh my
So,
God.
but yeah, I thought it was a good movie, and I liked that the kid has that understanding. He knows he's like, if you weren't here with me, this would this thing wouldn't have been done. So
They came so close to death to me. I was like, that wasn't worth it, homies. Like I was just like, you guys were oh my God. Like when the alpha was chasing him across the bridge, I was just like, oh God. Like, sorry, I just had to like reflect on that.
yeah,
That alpha
Yeah.
dude is terrifying. And also, how is Ray Fiennes okay living out there? Like, had the kid not like stabbed him with the little like tranquilizer dart or whatever, he would have ended up like it
Yeah, but
was a wrap.
he was only there because of the baby.
Yeah, that's true. You're
Like,
right.
yeah, so I think they're
He'll be fine now.
well, the alpha I think has enough intelligence to kind of apparently respect some boundaries. You know, like generally speaking, it just doesn't care about Rafe Fiennes for whatever reason because he's kind of made himself undesirable with the iodine, with all the stuff that he's done. He seems maybe like he's more effort than he's worth, except for now that there's
There's
dude's babies
baby.
involved. So yeah,
He went just through.
it's brutal. A bad dude was just running around hanging dong. I was like, dude, you got to put that away. I was like, you're gonna. I mean, that's a weapon in itself. Jesus Christ. Is I was like, that's too much, man.
The last time I felt it was too much dong in a movie was definitely Dr. Manhattan.
Oh
Um,
yeah, yeah,
like well, I saw that in the theater too, so that was just like just giant dong on the screen the whole time. I'm like, God, you guys are like, no, you're making it a point to like
yeah,
just
yeah. I
okay,
mean, and hats off to those guys for having a fucking telephone pole between their legs. But like, it's you're just like Jesus Christ, dude. I don't need
yeah.
to see it that much. Um, but yeah, overall, a really good movie, especially if you like the first two films. I think this does a good job living in the universe without relying on anybody from the first films, which I think is important. Um, and yeah, it's good and it I'm really excited to see where the next two go. And I think the third one's going to get made. I don't know how successful this first one was at the box office.
Oh, it
I
did pretty
think it did
well.
pretty well though, right?
It did. Yeah, I just looked. It was like the budget was like 60 million
Oh,
and the actual box office, hold on, was 151 million. So
okay.
it yeah,
Yeah.
it's good enough for
And
sure.
for a horror film, I mean that's usually pretty good. You're not gonna it'd be nice to see them bring the budget down. And that's the other thing actually about this movie too. I think it was beautiful. Visually, it's beautiful. Like the where they shot the UK for being, you know, a place that people have lived for a very, very long time is very good about keeping their open land. Like there's a lot of places in the UK that uh, are, you know, relatively uninhabited that made it a perfect place to film. But it is gorgeous. The outdoor scenery that they shoot and all that is impressive.
Yeah, and then even again, I would almost describe it as a little atmospheric because that
Hmm.
whole boots thing, like that
That
little,
was weird to me. Like it worked, but it was weird.
I like it.
Yeah,
I it's kind of it's eerie, and I actually
yeah, for sure.
it was even better, I think, in the trailer. But I just yeah, I'm a little bit of a I don't know what you call it, but like almost like a UKophile, you know, like whether it's Irish, Scottish, British, whatever. Like if it's that old like 1800s, 1900s like chants and dances and but it's there's something druidic about it a little
Yeah,
bit. It just
yeah,
feels spiritual in a way. I think it's cool.
yeah, for sure. So cool. All
Cool,
right.
cool.
Well, yeah, go watch 28 Years Later if especially like I said if you like the first ones then you have to. To be fair, you could actually if you just have a concept of what's happening in the world, you could go watch this without watching the first two.
Yeah, it stands on its own.
Yeah. But I do think the first two help a little bit to understand not only the rage virus, but also how it's changed. I think that that is a little bit of the story here too, in the way that it's changed over time.
I need to rewatch them, frankly. I remember liking two, the second one, but I saw that in like 2007
Yeah.
maybe, and the
And
first one in
the
2007.
opening scene of that one is heavy duty,
I'll
man.
never forget that the dad who has to peace out on his
On
family.
his whole fucking
God.
yeah. He's like, sorry, boo, I'm out. You're just like, bro, come on, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, it's a great opening. So, okay, cool. Well, we can move on. I do want to get to some other stuff real quick, but I've got two things that I'm going to talk about, one now and one later, that are super short. Um, Me and my kids, my middle son was out today with his girlfriend. My wife was away, so it was me and my oldest and my youngest. We enjoy watching bad films together. So we had the house to ourselves. We got some pizza, didn't know what to watch, went through Hulu and found a movie. And I'm gonna tell you the title, and I want you to take a minute and think about what you would think this movie is, because you will be wrong. The movie is titled "The Man Who Killed Hitler and Then the Bigfoot." So let that title sit with you for a second, because this sounds like, and we sat down for what we expected to be a bad movie, because it also doesn't even have a trailer. So you go to Hulu, usually you can find the trailer for the movie. I mean, we could have gone out and looked for the trailer, but on Hulu, no trailer. I'm like, okay, okay. So my son looks it up, and the ratings are interesting, very high from the critics, and actually relatively low. I think it was 80 something from the critics, 50 something from the audience. I'm like, okay, cool, cool, cool. Stars Sam Elliott. I'm like, wait, okay, now things are changing a little bit. Like Sam Elliott isn't. I mean, he can do funny. He can be a funny guy. But like, I'm like, okay, so in my mind, this is a ridiculous over the top comedy before we even start, like something super farcical, like a dude killed Hitler and then Bigfoot. Um, that is not what this movie is at all. It is, in fact, he is the character. So as a young man in his 20s ish, we see his story. He did in fact assassinate Hitler.
Wow.
And in his old age, as Sam Elliott is, this was filmed a few years ago, an old man is tasked with hunting and killing Bigfoot, because Bigfoot is carrying apparently a version of influenza that humans haven't been in touch with yet, but if he does come in contact with humans, will be catastrophic. And for whatever reason, I don't think they really get into the why, but just the fact that Sam Elliott's character is immune to it. So if he goes and kills Bigfoot, survives and comes back, no harm, no foul, right? Like
Right.
everybody will be fine. He won't be carrying it. But this story, or this movie, and I'm still not sure if I can actually recommend it to people. Like, it is a weird movie in a lot of ways, but it's a character story. It's a character study of this man who did this thing, killing Hitler, and the cost that it took on, the toll that it took on him. So, in some parts of the movie, we see him pre going out to World War II, right? So, and before he's done it, he he's met a woman. He wants to propose to her before he goes to war. He's got the ring, um, and so, well, as we find out later in the story, she loves him very much, but she can't handle the idea of him going to war. So she's like, at the very last scene we see before him going to war, she basically says, "I'm going to walk past your house and keep walking. You go inside, and then, that way in my mind, the next time I come to your house, you'll be there, and it'll be like you never left." Well, he's on his knee to propose to her, waiting for her to turn around, but she never does. She does exactly what she says going to do, which is keep walking. So he never gets to propose. He goes to Europe, goes through this ordeal, does this almost silly mission of like Mission Impossible style shit to kill Hitler, where he goes through a security checkpoint and he's got all these things on him that aren't weapons, but then he Mission Impossibles this shit together into a gun, right? Like he's got a flask that is a silencer, a pen that turns into the barrel of the gun, all these things he puts together. Not ridiculous, but kind of ridiculous, right? Like, gets himself in the room with Hitler, kills Hitler. And that scene, while not silly, is a little goofy. Like, he's got a document that he hands to Hitler to, that's his impetus for getting into the room with him, is that he's got this thing that he's got to see. Hitler opens up this letter that's sealed, and it's the "We Want You" poster with Uncle Sam on it, and then he shoots Hitler. Like, it's corny, right? But the movie itself is not. So this scene feels a little out of place because this is a little corny. After he does this, he really struggles because he's never been a killer. That's actually not who he is. So having murdered a man even as bad as Hitler messes him up. He goes home, doesn't tell this girl that he's home. She's writing him letters thinking he's in still in the war and in Germany. Um, and ultimately, they never get together. So we
Wow.
flash forward to his time now, where he's been living on his own, dealing with this. Um, the FBI, or not the FBI, the military shows up, um, and it is um, uh, Rob Livingston from Office Space is the head agent. And he's talking to him and he's like, look, I heard these stories about you from my grandfather as he went senile, telling us about this guy who did this amazing thing, killing Hitler, that was so secret that nobody actually knows that you did it. And he's like, yeah, he's like, cool, cool, cool. It's great that you've heard that, but it's bullshit. He's like, yeah, I did that thing and I killed him, but it didn't matter. He's like, they just cut somebody else's hair, gave him that same stupid mustache because that was the signature. So if you saw this dude that looks the same and had the same mustache, you would still think it was Hitler. Dude still went out and did bad things. He's like, yes, I killed Hitler, but the same bad things kept going until Project
Wow.
Valkyrie was finished. All these other things were finished. He's like, it was meaningless. It was worthless. I murdered a man and it made no difference. He's like, the real heroes are the people that went out and did Project Valkyrie, that fought on the front lines, that did all this stuff. Um, and it was, kind of this really poignant moment. And so you find out this dude he's just sad. He's a sad guy that, you know, thought he was going on a mission to save the world. And, it's just a bummer. And so he's lived his life for a long time. Now he's old. Um, the FBI, and then so the government comes to him and they're like, look, we have this mission. We want you to go kill Bigfoot. And so the movie kind of comes to a head with him hunting Bigfoot in the forest, um, and literally killing Bigfoot. Like the what happens in the movie is in the fucking title. Um, but it's a really like if you watch it as a character study without the silly scenes, it's really interesting. And I don't know, it's a fascinating movie that is like a couple of parts of different films that kind of didn't necessarily mesh perfectly together.
Mhm.
But it tells a really interesting story, and it was kind of a interesting find because it wasn't what we were looking for. We were looking for something we could laugh at the whole time, but it was
Mhm.
too serious to laugh at the whole time. But also was too serious to be fun in the parts that were kind of fun. And I don't know, it kind of walked this weird line. Like I can't say that I recommend it, but I also kind of want people to see it because it's sort of unexpected. So, um, yeah, interesting film. That's all I really have to say. Like again, I can't recommend it, but it was a good performance from Sam Elliott for sure.
It's so random. I mean, like, I'm looking at the Wikipedia entry. It doesn't have a budget associated to it, but the box office is $3,822.
Yeah, I feel like this played at one theater. Like seriously, like this is a small art house film that nobody's ever fucking heard of. Like I found it by accident, walked past the title and was like, "Oh, this is what we're watching tonight" because the title is ridiculous.
And Sam Elliott is not like small potatoes. I mean, the guy was
No.
Tombstone for crying out loud. Like,
Yeah, I mean he's epic. I mean, he's been in fucking everything ever. Like he's the cowboy. He's the old cowboy. Like he's been the old cowboy for like 50 years.
yeah.
Like he's amazing. Um, but yeah, it's a weird movie. It's a weird movie, I think, and I'd be curious to have somebody else go watch it and just see what they think. With the information that I've given, if it would make it a better movie or a worse movie, I don't know. Um, but at least with the expectation that it's definitely not an
A
over-the-top
silly
silly
comedy.
comedy, which the title really implies.
It really does.
Um, like, yeah, my son is like, I wonder if they made this movie and then just picked the title because it's something that he did in the movie. Like they didn't even know what it was called, and then they made it, and they're like, yeah, he killed Hitler and Bigfoot, and they're like, there's the title. Like it's just so weird, but
I bet you it did have another title before.
yeah, it probably had a working title.
Bet you. All right.
But all right, all right, cool. Then we can move on. Alien Earth. We're
Alien Earth.
we're just a boot there.
Yeah,
Uh,
man.
to the end. It's been awesome.
It's been very awesome. Definitely. Okay, I will say this. I will say this. I'm a little sad. I'm a little sad about Alien Earth because I feel like this next episode, like they can't possibly like I
Button
even
everything
looked
up.
at the yeah, it's like it's only like 40 something minutes. Like what? You guys have unraveled so much and no. Like I love that I'm terrible with names, but Oliphant's character all of a sudden seems a little like he's playing chess, man. Like he
Yeah,
literally like he there's
yeah,
more to him than meets the eye. I feel like that was cool. I mean, I don't even know where to start. The eye thing, like the eye alien, like he's a trip. Like he's apparently smart enough to know
yeah.
pi.
He's actually
Like,
the biggest, like the scariest monster in the show. Like we have a xenomorph running around the island. Now we have two actually, and Eyeball Dude is still the scariest fucking thing out there.
well, I and see, here's the thing, right? Like, I don't know if he's a villain or a hero or just down with his own situation, but I feel like he seems good. Like but then again, what he did to the fuck, sorry, what he did to like the android boy, that was not necessary. Like he just,
Yeah, that that was
what?
a display of power, man.
He's like, and then like it's so disgusting that ugly Timothy Chalamet is like, I have just the person, like he's like, what is wrong with you? But man, like, and poor husband, man, like he died so quick. Like he
Yeah,
was like what? Like he was fine for like all of, I don't know, 20 minutes. Like,
yep,
I know you guys are lying. You haven't learned to lie yet. You're kids.
yeah,
Like, and I also love how like Homegirl, like, first of all, when she freed the xenomorph, like from the secure place, I'm like, you bitch, like they didn't deserve to die. Like she's like animal rights, yay, you know. But at least Homeboy is like listening to her. And I love how, I'm sorry I'm being so scattery with this, but I love how, like, at the end of the episode, Homeboy's like, she told me to wait, you know? He's just like chilling in the bushes, like watching them get taken
hmm
in, like not doing anything. Like, that is so dope that they have an alien who's just there to hide, but then like wreck shop if she calls him. Like, that
yeah.
is so cool. All right, you can talk now, but I just get that out.
No, I think it's awesome, and I think I mean like you said, like I don't know what can happen in 40 minutes that will properly end the season.
Yeah.
And I know a second season was sort of up in the air, but I feel like it can't be. Like
Yeah,
we need this
right.
story to continue. There's too much to. If they button everything up neatly in this 40 minutes, I feel like it will be a disservice. It will be too convenient because they're going to put they want to put the eyeball into a person, which we haven't seen the person yet, right? I'm not crazy about that. We haven't seen that person who he has in mind, whoever that is. My guess is it's the brother, um, because he thinks he's kind of a dipshit and all that. So my guess is he wants to put it in the brother. I don't know if he will. Um, and so we need to see that. We need to see that bit happen. Um, we need to figure out what happens with these two xenomorphs on Earth where they can still get handled so that the rest of the alien universe makes sense, right? Because in Alien 2,
Four. Oh,
2 they bring her back to a space station that's right around Earth, right before they send
yeah.
her out again.
Hmm.
So like she's
Yeah,
been
why would
to
they?
Earth,
Yeah.
yeah, and they're still out looking for xenomorphs. So um yeah, it's interesting. Um Yeah, it's going to have to be if everything gets buttoned up, it's going to be way too convenient because you still have the weirdness of the machines. Although, did the little nerdy girl that thought she was pregnant, is she dead? Did they kill her?
I
Kill
yeah,
her?
I don't think she's dead, but she's definitely like she definitely I think she got fucked up because
Yeah,
she went into all murdery, which
yeah.
is why like, I'm sorry. I gotta say, like, I remember, you know what? I don't think, yeah, it wasn't with you. It was with somebody else. Maybe it was my with my fiance, but like I was talking about. because she hasn't watched the show. But I'm like, maybe it was you. I said she needs to be deactivated. Like she's all like, if you are mentally whatever and you're strong, you're not allowed to live. Like, or at least you're not allowed to be like alive. Like moving around because we saw what happened to her. Like she literally, the guy I think throws away her little toy and then she like rips his face open or something. Like what the fuck? So I feel like I don't like her. And the main character, Wendy, whatever, like I know that you're good and whatever, but I feel like you're totally down with letting innocent people die for the rights of crazy, like whether it's a xenomorph or your redheaded stepchild friend. Like,
Yeah.
oh dude, like that's not cool. Like you're not good either. Like as a matter of fact, like nobody's good. Like
Yeah.
I think that like the kid, Skinny or Slimmy or whatever his name is, the Indian kid, he like I understand where he's coming from. He has to save his family, but it's like, yo, you just like killed the husband, dude. Like that's on you, homie. And then his friend, his poor friend, who was just like, yo, I didn't want to help you, dude. And now he's like getting like kidnapped by Navy SEALs, and then like at least I loved how like they're like, come over here, you're grounded, like it was just so good. I'm rambling again. If they tie it up too quickly, it'll remind me of the way seasons of The Expanse ended. Because The Expanse would do such a good job of like creating all this stuff,
Hmm.
and then all of a sudden it was like wrapped up. And then all right, on to the next arc. And I'm just like, that was terrible. That was terrible. And I remember that's what they did. So hopefully the way this ends is the eye goes into somebody, it's kind of a cliffhanger and now
Yeah.
it's like this eye is like, all right, I'm intelligent and I
Y-
have this, and this to say.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And like for me, as much as I don't want a show that hasn't been renewed for a second season to end on a cliffhanger, like this show has to.
Yeah.
Like like it has to. You can button up a couple of things. Um, but I think Wendy obviously has to stick around. She's the fucking star of the show. Like she is the driving factor of kind of what makes the show interesting. And just her as a character and the moral and human dilemmas that she's facing because of this line that she's walking between being human and being a machine is fascinating. Like that's a story that you need to continue to tell. Um, you kill the boy genius. He could fucking die. Like I don't care. I think you need him to keep his island going and to keep that little world separated from the rest of the world. So you
Hmm.
probably need him. I feel like Timothy Oliphant's character is fascinating enough that he needs to stick around.
Hmm.
Um, but if you put that eyeball into the brother, that gives Wendy more reason to be completely crazy, right? Like she'll go off the deep end. You still got xenomorphs on the island, but those can stay, man. They don't have to solve that problem either. That can stay. Like you can maybe generalize, like, oh, we've got them contained, so they can't go anywhere. Say something that
In the
that
island, right?
keeps that keeps it, in universe, so that if this show didn't come back, you wouldn't be questioning, necessarily why. But um, yeah, it's just it has to be it has to be a cliffhanger. Like it really has to be, and I think that would build interest for a second season, anyways.
Hmm.
Um, but it cannot be neat. Like this show is not. I mean, to be fair, the show's never been neat, so it shouldn't be. And they also have the cyborg dude in jail basically on the island now, and they need to keep him alive. He's I mean they don't
Yes.
have to, like they could kill him off, but he's great.
No, he's
Like
phenomenal.
I would hate for his character to be gone. They could kill him off and that would be okay from a storytelling standpoint, but I like him. I want them to keep him for me.
Yeah, no, he's solid. So, oh wow. For RogerEbert.com, Ryan Tallarico wrote, Tony Gilroy's work on Andor feels like a logical comparison, and that's the quality tier in which this show resides as well. And I would have to agree. I
Yeah.
think this elevates the alien world in the same manner that Andor elevated Star Wars. So yeah, we watched the penultimate episode. Typically, penultimate episodes tend to be really strong. I still think five is my favorite. That was the
That was the
flashback
kind of
one.
flashback one, yeah.
That was my favorite of the whole series. But it'll be interesting to see where this, again, to where this goes. And hopefully, just like what happened with Severance, when I saw the episode length on Severance before the final episode aired, it was like 40 something minutes, but it ended up being much longer. So hopefully that's just like a filler,
Hmm.
but it's actually a longer finale.
Yeah, what I don't know about Alien Earth is it's advertised as an FX show. So it may very well have to be that long because if it
That is
airs on FX,
possible.
it's technically a TV show, not a streaming show.
Fair.
Um, so it may be required to be that long. Um, but again, as long as it's not too neat, I think it'll be good. I think it'll be good. It just can't be like, hey, this is our just in case finale. Like if we don't get a second season, here's enough to make you not have to question anything. No, I need to question things at the end of this.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
yeah, it's got to be open ended. So
Now, I know you mentioned that you had something else to talk about, and I know we're getting to that 2 hour mark. And I know you also mentioned you had already talked about friendship. So, did you want to like sprinkle that, or maybe we just park that for another
yeah, we
time?
can sprinkle it really quick because I just want to know what you thought of it and see how right I was.
It was terrible. It was actually like probably the worst film I've seen this year. I don't
Yes.
understand how this film is doing well on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't understand. Like it was so bad. I had utter contempt the entire time for the main character. I did not understand how he landed Kate Mara as a wife.
No.
The son actually, he was pretty cool, but he was just like whatever. I did actually like Paul Rudd. I think Paul Rudd is charismatic in everything he does, but it's at the same time like you did this to yourself, homie. Like you invited this guy in, and now he's weird and stalking you. Um, yeah, I just did not get the point of the movie at all.
At
Like
all.
it
I
was
like. I mean, I get that it's like toxic, not just not necessarily masculinity, but just toxic people in general. Because like Paul Rudd's character with all his friends is super strong and charismatic and all that shit. But then you see him in real life, and he's a puss, dude. Like he is getting stomped on in real life every day. He's got to have a hairpiece to make himself feel tough. Like he's got to, whatever. Like, and I get like, I get what they were doing. Like I actually do get it. And the acting performances themselves were actually good. Okay. Like, dude played a weird motherfucker really well.
actually he played it too well. I'm
Yeah,
convinced that's who he is.
yeah, it may very
I'm
well be
sorry.
because I think he's been in other stuff and he's a weird motherfucker in that too.
They
Um,
actually said they wrote that role specifically for him.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
yeah, sorry, keep
yeah. He's a,
going.
he's a weird fucking dude, and so like that was weird. But he played the part well. Paul Rudd played his part well. His
Yes.
buddies played their part. Like everybody was fine. Like the acting was not the problem. It's just a weird movie, and to bill it as a comedy, dude, I did not laugh. Like I did not find anything in it funny. I felt it was very uncomfortable, which
Yes, that's the word.
and I think maybe I think it may be the second time it came up on a chat, but this is like a Beau is Afraid movie where you're
Yes.
like, what did you try and sell me? Because this is not what it is. Because the trailer makes it look like it's an awkward comedy that then turns into like a psycho
Dark.
revenge movie,
Yes.
and it doesn't do either of those things, and it's just a butt film. It is garbage. It is ass.
It is ass, and if anyone wants to see ass of a film, absolutely go see Friendship, or not go see, but like see it on HBO Max. Thank God we got the HBO back, by the way. But
Yes, yes.
that was this whole Max thing was ugh. But anyway, yeah, Friendship, terrible, terrible film. Sorry, guys, nothing personal.
Yeah, yeah. I love Paul Rudd. I mean, the dude can basically do no wrong, but this was kind of wrong. He was good in it, but it was a bad movie.
Well said.
Um, so okay, yeah. Just I'm still curious. Like, I really want to find one person that watched it and liked it so they can explain to me why. Like,
We tried to do that with Bo is Afraid, but
we
we
never
never,
found anybody for that one either.
yeah. Hmm.
Um, so yeah. Did you have anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay, so I've got one more thing, and it'll be quick. But I finished the series Upload on Amazon Prime this week. The final season came out. It's an interesting series because it's a lot of fun. It's really goofy. It's by the creator of The Office and Parks and Recreation, Greg Daniels. It feels like a mix of The Good Place and Idiocracy,
Mm.
which so the whole premise of the show is that we live in the future. Mega corporations have bound together in stupid ways. Like you have Oscar Mayer Intel is like one, right? Like companies have merged, which living in today's world, looking at what Idiocracy did and how prophetic that movie apparently was, um, like it doesn't feel that far off the mark. But the gist is that when you die, if you paid enough money and if people are paying enough money for you, you can have your brain uploaded into a simulation that is basically heaven, right? Like it's amazing. You live in this hotel and everything's amazing and you get all, everything. It's great. And there's people that work there that are called angels. They're your angels and they help you, they guide you through. They're there to help you out and do stuff. But as the show goes on, we find out just how much money is involved in the background and how political things kind of are in the world. Like, there's a whole thing where at the end, I think at the end of the first season, we find out that his girlfriend in real life, when he dies, is paying for him to be there. And so when they break up and she gets mad at him, she takes her money away and they send him to this sub level that's like you have this amount of data that you can spend each month, and then you get frozen until the next month starts. Like it is messed up. And Robbie Amell is the cousin, I think, of Stephen Amell, who was Green Arrow on the CW. Robbie Amell, fantastic. Andy Allo, who plays his angel, who becomes his love interest, fantastic. She's beautiful. She's amazing. The guy that plays Luke is his best buddy, who is a total dipshit and absolutely hilarious. Fantastic. Like it's a really good show. Um, I really find myself wondering if you would enjoy it or not, because there's a lot of scenes that a lot of things in it that are a little silly, like over the top silly, but it works in the world. So like I kind of wonder, if you'd like it or not. Like because I don't think you probably didn't like The Office.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I wasn't like an Office person, and actually, a friend of mine tried to get me into Upload, and I think I watched literally like the first episode, didn't get through the whole thing, and I was just kind of like, I'm good, you know. And so, but I mean, again, this is back in like I don't know, 2019, 2020, maybe even 2021, but it was years ago. So I'm not saying I wouldn't like it, but I remember like watching it and thinking to myself. I don't know if this is going to be enough for me to like pay attention because I'm just so like tunnel vision when it comes to my TV. But maybe
Yeah,
I'll tell you one thing I will say though really quick. Idiocracy, I tried to watch it and it pissed me off. And the reason why was because there's people like sorry people, but like people I worked with at my old job, like my toxic job, and I'm like, there's people like this. I don't need to be
hmm
reminded. I know people suck, so I
yeah,
don't need to see people sucking on this damn movie. So the fact that it's so for me, yeah, I remember. So if you say it's idiocracy, yeah, I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't like seeing that.
yeah,
That makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah.
It is. It's really interesting. I don't think it's so much about the people. Like the people are silly in this, but we don't have like Terry Crews as president and all that. Like there are shitty business people in this world for sure. That's sort of
Yes.
the underlying thing. Like at one point, um, the the people on the outside, the business people that are running, it's called Upload. They have another name for it, but they're running the where everybody is. I think it's called Horizon. Um, and they are actually trying to restructure districts to get voting done so they can pass a bill to let people in upload work. So now all of a sudden you'll have people uploaded that are becoming going to become workers for you so they can continue to have their life. So basically you're putting them to work instead of putting them in heaven, right? But also on top of this is the contractual part of it, where once you've been uploaded into upload, the company actually owns you because you're not a person, you're
Property,
data, you're property on their
your
disks. So
data.
they
Oh
own
my
you.
God.
It's super interesting. It's this like really kind of intellectually smart concept and story that's wrapped up in a lot of silliness. Like it's funny and it's fun. And the characters are generally more over the top than like a real character. Like when you look at The Good Place, I guess they are in that too. Like they're all over, a little over the top, but
They
less
are. But
silly.
I like the
Um,
good.
yeah, I'd
Love it.
just be really curious. Like there is a potential for you to like this one, but there's also
All right.
potential for you to hate it. Um, but it's good. I think the ending is definitely less poignant than the ending of The Good Place. I think the Good Place is one of those perfect endings. There's not a lot of shows that I think end perfectly. The Good
Hmm.
Place is one of them. I think it's got one of the most beautiful, emotional, perfect endings that you can have. Um, this one, it does feel like because the last season is a four-season finale, a four episode finale, so it's kind of all
Wow.
one long thing. And it does feel like they were trying to button it up for the people that have been watching the whole time.
Hmm.
Like it's a little too short and a little too neat. Um, and there's some things that probably would have been more emotional if they'd been drawn out just a little bit more. But it wasn't bad, and it ends in a good place. Um, but again, not as poignant as The Good Place, which was again almost an unmatchable ending. They did such a good job building that entire series up. The ending of that is, to me, utter perfection. Like
Nice.
it's not a show. Even other shows that I think have a perfect ending, I don't think can you may be able to meet The Good Place's ending, but I don't think you can beat it.
Wow. High
Like
praise. I love
it's
that.
just I mean, what else could you have done at the end of that show?
No, it
Right?
was perfect. And it was
Eh,
perfectly paced too. Nothing felt rushed.
right. Yeah. I think that that's the case of a show where you say we're going to write this many seasons and we're going to do it and we're going to be done with it. And if the network says otherwise, you say fuck off. I think Lost almost did that, but they got kind of hosed right there in the middle where ABC was like, let's keep going. And they pushed it for a minute and then, Lindelof and Cuse came back and said, no, we're going to end this. So let us do our thing. And then you can see where it gets better. You can see where it kind of dips for a bit and then comes back. But I think a show has to know what it's doing. And I think we have to be fair about that. That's what we've said before. The UK always gets right. They tell a story in 8 episodes. Um, and if that story can't be completed, then it doesn't work. Like even we were talking about Slow Horses earlier, which is a British show starring Gary Oldman. Each season is a tight story. If you quit that show at the end of any given season, fine. What they did was perfect. They develop their characters, they do all that stuff perfectly, but each season could stand alone and be good. And you need that, I think, for good television. And if you're going to tell a longer story, you have to know your beginning, your middle, and your end. Sometimes you can draw that out and add a season in between, or do something, and draw that out. But you have to know where you want to end, and you have to be given the ability to do that for the show to succeed. And I think The Good Place had that. And I think I feel like maybe Upload didn't have that plan totally in place. They had a great idea. They made a show. It was a lot of fun. And then they're like, shit, we're not getting renewed. Please give us the opportunity to close the story for the fans. They did that in a way that worked, but I think they wanted to do more
Yeah.
because they could. So it, but all in all, I really enjoyed Upload. I think it's rated pretty well overall. Um, Yeah, but I'd be curious to see if you get into it. It's kind of on the border for me of the things that I know that you do and don't like. So be really curious. But I
Yeah.
like Robbie Amell a lot. He's super charismatic. I actually think I like him more than his cousin, even though I like Stephen Amell in Arrow. Um, Robbie Amell, he's charismatic. Like I can see him doing more things, like taking off a little bit as an actor. So. definitely a good watch over there on Prime. If you got Prime, you're already paying for it, so you might as well check it out. But
Oh, of course I have Prime.
yeah,
Of course. All
so
right.
yeah. So if you don't have anything else, that's good. I started watching Black Rabbit, but I didn't get far enough to really talk about it. But that's the new is it Jude Law and Jason Bateman show on Netflix?
You know better than
Yeah,
I.
I think I saw something compared and it's like it's the next Ozark. Um, but it starts off dramatic, but I'm only halfway through the first episode, so I don't have that to talk about yet. I feel like there was something. Oh, Gen V started last week. I haven't started that yet, so I got to watch that.
Yes. We
Um,
started it. We started it.
mm,
The first episode. And yeah, I would say
is it more of
so
the
far so
same?
good.
Good, good.
So far
Yeah.
so good.
So we can talk about that hopefully next week. We'll have three. Do they drop 3 episodes? So by the
I think
time, yeah. So by the
yeah.
time we meet, there will be 4 episodes already. So, um, yeah, I definitely got to watch that. And then I don't know what else is coming out. But I'm sure we'll have some stuff. I want to find another fun horror movie to watch because I've had decent luck. 28 Days Later, Bring Her Back last week. Again, I'll say it again, is one of the best horror movies I've seen in quite a while. And yeah, since we're in that season, I want to find at least one more horror movie to watch each week until it passes. So
Well, that intrigues me.
yeah. So with that, I will say thank you to everyone for watching. Thank you for listening. Have a great week, and we will see you next time.